think this question we get a lot of in our business. A lot of our agents are getting the buyers wanting to go directly to their banks. Why would a buyer want to use your services instead of going to the bank directly?
Where do I start? I could probably go on about this for an hour. I think the core value that we bring is the fact that we multi-submit the application to various banks. Now, just think about that. If you were applying for a bond and you had to approach even just more than your own bank, the hassles, the two sets of application forms, two sets of documents, the follow-up with two different places, and that's just two banks. As I mentioned before, we deal with various institutions, and we'll very early on in the process see where to submit for the best result. We use one set of documents. Our application form incorporates all of the bank's information, and so it does make it easier for the client. But the fact that we multi-submit then means that we can compare offers between the various banks for the client. He very quickly sees how his or her bank compare to the others out there. And while we certainly expect the client's own bank to always be competitive with regards to approving the loan and the interest rate that they offer, it happens more often than people think that a competing bank, where sometimes the client has no relationship whatsoever, is more competitive with an interest rate, for example. And here I must mention it's important that we will always give the client's own bank the opportunity to match or better a competing bank's offer. We're not here to try and steal a client away from one bank to the other. We have no favoritism with the banks. We deal with all of them. And at the end of the day, it's about where's the best option for the client. They make the final decision, and we guide them through the process.
Sure. Etienne, and just on that topic, it sounds like it's an amazing service that you guys are offering, and I've personally firsthand seen it and very impressed. What sort of turnaround time are you looking at?
So, Wayne, look, I've got to be careful here. We've submitted applications and the very same day received the final grant. In other words, a full approval. There's a lot of things that affect this. The type of application, it's unreasonable to expect an answer within a few days for a self-employed application, for example, because it is more intricate, there's more work, more documents the banks need to work through. On average, we would say we would start expecting feedback from the banks after day 3 or so, and the process shouldn't really take longer than a week. Sometimes a little bit longer if we need to negotiate a bit firmer with the banks after the fact for interest rates and things, but you should have answers from most of the banks, or know where you stand with them at least within a week.
Wow. Yeah. And your service is free. It's a free service that you offer.
Thanks for mentioning that. It is absolutely, we are paid by the banks. So for the client, there absolutely is no charge for our service.
Yeah, and you mentioned briefly, and while we're on that topic, is self-employed. I know self-employed, there are various criteria that they've got to match with the banks, and it varies. Tell us a little bit about that, and the challenges that self-employment people have.
Yeah, with the self-employed application, it's all about the documents that we can provide to prove certain things. Number one of which is income. People out there sometimes have very interesting ways of structuring their businesses and how they draw an income from it. And there's reasons for it. I mean, I myself, we're all in the same boat. We want to pay as little tax as possible and still make a profit and draw a salary. So there's always a bit of a catch-22 there. And that's why we would certainly, for business owners, self-employed applicants, suggest that they speak to us as early on in the process as possible, because we can guide them and their accountants on how to structure the income and the application way before they've even found a property. So the homework specifically is important with that type of applicant.
And tell me the application process. Is there an online service? Tell us a little bit about how they can get access to the system.
So once again, I think after the interview we'll have our contact details. There is a website address on there. I like to do things personally, so I like to be hands-on with each of my clients, guide them through the process, but there is an online facility for the pre-qualification, all of that. But I think once it gets down to the nitty-gritty and your offer as a home buyer has been accepted, you want to speak to a person and get specific advice and be able to phone them sometimes after hours over the weekend and ask a question. Do we structure the offer to purchase like this, or what do you know, that kind of thing. So we do specialize in the personalized service to our clients.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Etienne, pre-qualification. This is a big term in our office. I think a lot of agents struggle getting home buyers to go for pre-qualifications prior to putting an offer to purchase in place.
Yeah.
I think it speeds up the process if we know where they're standing. But how do we overcome this, and how important for new buyers that's out there, consumers that are out there, how important is it for their agents to get pre-qualified?
Vital, Wayne. I think it's very important. You know, the property market goes through different phases, and I think for a long time now we've been in a phase where there's a lot of buyers making offers on the same property. So especially in that instance, it is absolutely vital that your buyer knows exactly what his options, not exactly, but have a very good idea of what his options are before he makes that offer to purchase.
Because often we've seen, you know, they may think they can afford a 2 million rand property. Meantime, with their criteria, they could afford a 2.2 or 2.3.
Yes.
And so it's not always the negative.
Absolutely.
It could often be the positive. You see that coming through in your business?
You're absolutely right, yes. Unfortunately, most of the time people think that they qualify for more than what they do. And there's a reason for that, because people don't, not dealing with the banks on a daily basis, they don't understand how the banks look at commission earnings or overtime earnings or a person earning income from abroad, for example. So that's where we come in, where we can guide them on each bank's specific criteria to each of those things and tell them, well, look, with this bank you don't have a chance, but with this one you've got a very good chance. So instead of just following the normal route, we can structure the application and guide them as to which banks their best options are. The pre-qualification also, for me, if I was a home buyer, I would feel much more confident in going to an agent and saying, I'd like to make an offer on this property. And if I was the seller, I'd be more likely to accept the offer if I have been pre-qualified. If everybody in the process knows that there's a good chance of success of this bond application, then I think, you know, that's obviously where everybody wants to
Am I right by saying, I said in my office, most bonds don't be granted or homes be not approved because the pre-qualification process was either slow or just never happen.
Most of the time never happened, yes.
Yeah.
So it is something that we've got to get the market used to, but it's once again a free service. There really is no negative to it. So we would certainly encourage everybody, not just your first-time buyers, but everybody to contact a mortgage specialist and get their options. Yeah.
So I'm challenging the viewers out there to utilize your services, see what you qualify, get a pre-qualification. Even if you're not looking to purchase, you may invest down the line, you may sell, but it gives you a good indication of where you're sitting and where you're standing. Can I put you on the spot by saying they can come online?
Absolutely.
Do free pre-qualification with you and test the process and test the flow.
Yeah.
Etienne, this was an amazing interview. You know, we've worked well and closely with your business and organisation. I can vouch that their service levels is only at the best, and that's why we've aligned ourselves with Bond Gallery. I want to thank you and your partners and all your team for the amazing service levels, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Is there anything you want to close off?
I'd just like to thank you as well. Thanks for the opportunity. This is certainly a new experience for me, and I hope that we reach enough people out there so that we've added a certain amount of value for you guys. Thanks for the opportunity, Wayne, and looking forward to walking a long road with you guys.
Awesome. Again, thank you again for tuning in. Please put your comments below. Any questions you may have, Etienne, please put them in the comments on this Facebook page and on our blog. And what would the next topic you would like to hear from Etienne? Give us your ideas, give us your views. Tune in next time and watch this space. See you again.